Hey guys, welcome to a
Healthy farmers grow more organic fruit and
Find
veggies.
the process location, Golden Freddy mode. I haven't seen this in a while, so this is going to be very interesting.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome back to Sister Location
Let's
Custom Night. We're going to be attempting the Golden Freddy Challenge, also known as 10-20 mode, the ultimate challenge in Sister Location. Now, I want to say sorry for the long gap between this and the last episode. I know it's been a while, but there were things that were out of my control. I wanted to try it before I left for the UK, but I didn't have time in terms of preparing other videos and going and doing the charity live stream, and then coming back with this horrible sickness that has been with me for about a week now, and then also doing the 12 days of Christmas. It's all been a smorgasbord of work and sickness, and I really wanted to try this before Scott made it easier. And Scott did make it easier by giving more power during this specific night. I'm going to be doing this, and thankfully, considering my voice is thrashed, I will be able to do this without talking, and I'm going to concentrate at this very hard, and then afterwards I'm going to talk to you guys about my thoughts and strategies and my thoughts about this story, because supposedly there's a hidden cutscene if you beat this mode in the game, and I'm very eager to see it because I have not seen it. I have not looked up anything else about this game. I have not looked up any strategies. All I'm going into it is with my strategies, a little warm up on easy mode, and that was easy mode. It's super easy. It's literally everything's at 3. It's super easy, so that's no test. I just wanted to do that as a flexibility test and to see if I remembered all the mechanics. But without further ado, I'm going to be trying very hard mode, and let's see how long it takes. It is currently Tuesday, December 20th. It is now 12:36 p.m. I'm going to let you know the exact time that I am done. Ready? Here we go. Hi, it's now day 2. I still feel a little sick, but I feel a little better than I did yesterday, and I've got the basic strategy down. I've gotten very close. I've gotten so close, and I just need to adjust my strategy about Foxy, because what I didn't realize is that Foxy does drain power when he hits the door, so I just need to make sure I watch Foxy a little more, which requires some minor adjustment, but if I do that, I should have enough power, no problem, and this should be in the bag, but I just gotta make sure that my reaction times and my concentration are up, and that's a bit of a struggle right now, but I've almost got it, so this should be good. Hi guys, I just wanted to do kind of a developer commentary about this because once again I was too busy concentrating to be able to talk while I'm playing. Right. And I apologize because my voice is still very raspy. I am still sick, but I wanted to kind of sift through the chaos here because if you're watching this, and this is a very sloppy opening anyway, so it seems extra chaotic, but to be perfectly honest, this particular 2020 mode is not that bad. Once you get the rhythm of it, and once you are able to pay attention and focus on multiple different things, it actually turns into an experience that is not too terribly complicated because it is predictable. And when you have predictability, it becomes easier and easier through repetition. Now, this was difficult because my reaction times were lower because I was sick, but I'm not making any excuses about it. Right. I believe that anyone would be able to do this if they had enough focus. So let me just go from top to bottom in terms of the enemies that I'm paying attention to. You may have noticed that I'm saying left and right, and that's just a reinforcement to know where Freddy is, because when he flips back and forth, it's easy to lose track of exactly where he is. I double reinforce this by moving the camera over to the side that he's on, and then I say it in my brain so I don't forget. And I say it every time that he moves so that I notice every time. So then I'm able to respond to his call out on whether he's on the left or the right side. So after that, the second responsibility is Foxy. You have to pay attention to Foxy, and this is a lot like Five Nights at Freddy's 1. You have to know where he is, or you have to keep the camera on him so he doesn't leave his tent. Because when he bangs on your door, much like Five Nights at Freddy's 1, he does drain your power. Now, not as much As the original game, he only drains like 2 to 3% as far as I know, but it's important to pay attention to him and keep track of him so he doesn't leave his tent much and go bang on your door a whole lot through the whole night. Now this is difficult because the more you flip up your screen, the more you have to risk looking at Yendo. And Yendo is probably the thing that makes this the most difficult. If Yendo wasn't there, this would be so much easier because Yendo is like a reaction time test. If you flip the screen down and he's there, you have to flip the screen back up. But there's also a small chance, I believe probably like a 30% chance that he's not there. And if your finger is twitchy, you'll flip the screen back up, and that's what I mean by slop. If you see me flipping the screen spastically, it's because like there, right there. It's because I was stuck in a loop of instantly twitching it back up until he appeared, and then I was able to break out of the loop from my own finger. So he drains your oxygen, and he does it quick. So if you're not instant on bringing the screen back up, you're going to lose oxygen, and then you're not going to be able to see anything in the entire game, and then your focus goes off. And this game, or this particular mode, is broken down into 3 different senses. You have to see to be able to know when Lolbit and, you know, Bonnet and Yendo is there. You have to be able to listen to know when Freddy's doing his thing, when Bidybab's doing his thing, when Ballora's doing their thing. And you have to have muscle memory to know where to put your mouse for the cameras and for Bonnet's nose. So there's 3 different things, and if you remove the ability to see, then your whole plan starts to unravel. Not that it's impossible, but it is guesswork at that point. But after that, Yendo is the hard one, and then everything else kind of falls into place. Bonnet is just like, can you put your hand on her nose? It's just kind of following her left. You try to keep your mouse at a same level on the screen every time you return back. And I think, thankfully, it defaults. After you put the camera down, the mouse resets position to Bonnet's nose level, which makes it a lot easier. And then you just have to move it left. Next up is Ballora, and Ballora's easy. Ballora and Bidybab kind of fall into the same category. You're just listening. Ballora, you're listening until she gets really close. Bidybab, you only need to listen for the metal vent sound that she makes when she's near your door. When you hear that crumpling of aluminum metal, that means that she's very nearby, and you just need to throw down that door until you hear a bang. You got to be careful when you've got a lot of doors down, waiting for bangs until all the bangs clear, and then you can go. And then the next thing that you have to worry about is in part and conjoined with flipping up the screen for Foxy. That's the Electrobab and the mini arenas that are messing with your power and your air. So thankfully, and this is where the pattern comes in, they do go in a pattern. You can get them so they sync up at the exact same time, and then you can take care of them both at once, and it makes my life a lot easier because that's one more variable that I don't have to watch out for. It combines 2 things into just one thing, so you're technically only messing with 9 animatronics. After that, everything starts to fall into place, you know. You've got Lolbit in the back, and that's a little more muscle memory to move over to the LOL keys. But all this is like a balance of oxygen. Not so much power, because power wasn't too big of an issue because I was able to get through this with a few percentage left. But oxygen, being able to see above all else, was the hardest thing. And towards the end here, you can see it's getting really dark, very hard for me to see. And I suppose you could kind of cheat your way around that. You could brighten your monitor really high. You could turn the gamma up really high on your computer, and maybe you could kind of get through that. But I didn't want to do that because it seemed cheap. And so all in all, this makes for a very complicated experience. You have to multitask on a lot of things, but it's not impossible, even though it seems like it might be. There's just a lot of moving parts and a lot of things that you have to pay attention to. And there goes Foxy, but thankfully I'm already at the end of the road here, and I have officially won it. So thanks for listening.
What a party pooper!
Owie, my voice is hurt! I did it! I did it!
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you.
Ooh. Oh, is that the next game? I don't know. Fazbear's Fright? I have no idea. Okay, that was an experience. Man, I'm full of pep. Adrenaline is coursing through my veins. Okay, so a few things about that. When I do think that it is probably impossible to beat it beforehand because the nights beforehand were 7 minutes and 30 seconds long. This night is 6 minutes long. Each hour is a minute, and therefore there's a minute and 30 seconds of extra time that you would need to do to be able to beat it in its previous incarnation, or at least that's what I'm assuming it is in terms of him giving more power. But in all honesty, I don't think that would have been possible just because of how tight the constraints were. I was having so much problem yesterday is because you have to do these 2020 modes, you have to focus for like 6 to 8 minutes straight, depending on the game. And I would say this one's very hard, but not like the hardest I've ever done, mostly because it may seem complicated, but everything in this particular one has a rhythm. See, I was able to combine the Electrobab and the Mini Rena into one. They were in a set rhythm. They would go off at exactly the same time, so I was always able to predict that. And for a long time, I was just letting Foxy go because I didn't think that Foxy stole power like in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, but she does. So as soon as I accounted for that, I only needed a few more tries and then I was able to beat it. Because yesterday, I realized that towards the later end of my attempts, but I was starting to feel so sick and I was just like coughing up a bunch of phlegm and it wasn't good. But today I felt peppier. Not the worst. I would put it just before the first Five Nights at Freddy's in terms of difficulty. All in all, not that bad. Kind of boring compared to the other ones in terms of just the monotony of it, because this one is very monotonous because it's the same thing coming at you again and again and again and again. You just gotta do the same thing over and over. But I would say a pretty good one, not bad at all. And that cutscene is very interesting because he said father, and he thought I was you. So, did he? I gotta think about that. I wish I could watch it again. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch it again, and then I'm gonna come back and get more thoughts about it because I wasn't able to capture everything. But I'll go look it up in just a second. Be right back. All right, so I just watched back the cutscene, and there's a few interesting things to take note of it. Number one, the guy says his name was Michael, and number two, he's talking to his father, and number three, he's talking to him, telling him that he shouldn't be alive. Now, at the end of the cutscene, it showed the blown up wreckage of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 after the protagonist lights the fucker on fire and burns it all down. And it was revealed at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 3 that Springtrap did survive that. So I can only assume that from this cutscene, Michael Afton, who I'm assuming that is because his father, they're all British. The person at the beginning of this game was Mr. Afton, and I'm assuming that they're all the Afton family, and I'm even assuming that the daughter who keeps talking to her father asking to go see Baby and was eventually killed by Baby was their daughter and Michael's sister. But all that aside, it showed Michael as Springtrap surviving the explosion, which we already knew for Five Nights at Freddy's 3, but that VO could have taken place at any time throughout. Now, there's been some theories saying that there are two purple guys, and I could understand that in terms of like a father-son duo. There could be two purple guys in this and just kind of having a powwow of murdering and creating horrible monstrosities of death and weird life. And you could kind of see it in terms of the timeline. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong about this timeline, but I believe it goes, the oldest is Five Nights at Freddy's 4, which was 1983 or 4, in the original Fazbear's Pizzeria. Fazbear's Fun Time, whatever it was called. I believe that was the original. Then, and in that, you can see cutscenes of Purple Guy not being a murderer, but just generally seeming like an employee, putting employees in suits of his horrible creations. Now, you go to Sister Location, where Michael is sent in by his father to try to piece together what's left of his sister and their daughter, and I can't help but be drawn to the comparison of Ennard to the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, because the puppet in the minigames wanted to piece the dead children back together. Now, to what end, I don't know, but this creation, whatever it is, Ennard somehow was able to give Michael Afton near supernatural powers of living beyond death when you should not be alive. He went in Michael's body, transformed him into literal Purple Guy, and then was exploded out. Now, maybe that happened to their father. Maybe that was already the case. I don't know. It doesn't seem possible because everyone in the neighborhood was very intimidated by this purple fellow by the name of Michael Afton and Purple Guy walking around the streets. But it's all just very confusing, you know. And I say comparisons just by the button, the mask, the 3 to 4 fingers, the spiral leg matching the spiral pattern of the puppet, like, and the general marionette nature of this creation here. There's a little bit of me and everybody pulling the strings. That's the only thing that I could thematically draw from that. And of course, I am not a master theorist. I know a lot about this, but I don't know everything. So these are only the conclusions that I can draw. So there may be 2 purple guys. This was Michael Afton. His father is Mr. Afton, and it's possible that his sister was the girl that was killed by Baby, and he was sent on a mission to try to put her back together because his father literally created life in these machines, and somehow in a perverted way, maybe this Purple Guy who got forced into Springtrap and was haunted by the souls of dead children was corrupted in a wrong way, turning life into something perverted by something that is by itself perverted life in this. It's all a very complicated story, or maybe it's simplifying. I have no idea. I would love to see a grand outline of everything from top to bottom, but I feel like we are not quite there yet. I feel like there might be one more game going. Or maybe not, honestly, who knows. But this one, Sister Location, was really fun. I liked it. It was a welcome change from everything that I've seen thus far. And it really hammered home the interesting story behind everything. And I like that a lot. And it was a pretty good challenge in custom night. I don't know if I ranked the difficulty, but I said Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, this game, Five Nights at Freddy's 4, and then Five Nights at Freddy's 3. That's what I'd say in terms of difficulty for the 2020 modes. But either way, thank you everybody so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, I will see you in the next video.